Hi everybody, Roger here. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty important in the Trump tax plan. Just going to go ahead and have notes here while I'm driving. I'm trying not to read so much, but basically the Trump tax plan is attempting to repeal the Obama administration requirement that all Americans obtain health insurance. Now, the requirement has never stuck good with me. I do feel like it's asking a person who walks everywhere to pay for car insurance. It's, you know, if they're not doing anything to, you know, destroy roads or to potentially get into a vehicle accident or anything, that they, you know, individuals shouldn't be forced to be getting something that they feel that they don't need to, especially if it's mandated by the government. Government doesn't know what's right for my health. I can obviously tell that from any sort of food programs that come out, or Michelle Obama's exercise and be fit or whatever, but still have your Cracker Jacks and shit food for lunch. So it's, I guess what I want to go through with this whole thing is, again, you know, I don't think anything is really set in stone at this point. We'll know a little bit more in a couple of days, I believe. But I kind of wanted to go over my own ideas of personal responsibility. So this requirement was forced on the people to help pay for those who would otherwise have either higher premiums or not have insurance at all. So, and again, that's one aspect of it. It's not everything. But I do want to point out that the majority of users, or a lot of users who do pay a lot into it, aren't necessarily using it. Now, I'm not looking at the stats, but I have read articles about this, so that's full disclosure right there. And I also have some experience with some friends that do take advantage of benefits, and I know I've read online that there are people who would use them profusely, would use these benefits profusely, and they probably could never afford to pay them after a while. You know, insurance can't profit from this as a struggle. They struggle to make payment. The members struggle to make payments. They can't even keep them consistent. So they have a hard time with that, you know, and the middle class does as well. The middle class is having a hard time keeping track, or keeping their payments. You know, the rates are just skyrocketing, and you're detrimenting the middle class at the because certain people, a lot of people in all avenues of age, demographic, and etc., and class, etc., are either abusing it or abusing themselves to make it cost more for the American who has to pay into it. So I'm proposing, or I offer my own solutions as to how I try to handle my own responsibility aspect of it also. Let's see, when I was poor, I'm not saying I'm rich right now by any means, but when I was really dirt poor, I could only afford food at bare minimum. So a lot of people say, okay, well, when you're poor, you don't have access to a lot of good foods. Well, that's or healthy foods. That is complete bullshit. What you do have access to are choices, just like everybody else. You just have less because you have to manage it a little bit better. So, you know, people can opt to go to their farmers markets, and I know I go there weekly, and I don't end up paying more than $20 or $25. And again, I am single, but and that does go by in a week. And I'm pretty sure with families that are bigger, you know, and again, it goes back to personal responsibility. If you know you're going to have a family that big, you know, then prepare in advance. I'm not one to talk on that because I don't have family, I don't have kids, so you know, I'm only giving my opinion there. So I think that, you know, even if you can't go to a farmer's market, if you're on assistance, you would still be able to go to the store and utilize buying, if your diet is allowing you to, you can buy eggs, which are an amazing food, and you can do so much with it if you wanted to, and that could last you a long time. You know, when I was younger, I had to buy ramen. Ramen's like eating rubber. So, you know, that's not healthy though. You know, don't be buying bulks of ramen and then buying bulks of bags of potato chips, Pringles, and all that. You know, all that stuff you can buy, and it adds up quick. You know, for chips, you could end up getting eggs. You know, and they'll probably both last. Actually, the eggs will probably last longer, because I know people who eat through a bag of chips, and then you go out and buy Monster drinks. I mean, what is that doing to your system? I mean, you are just robbing your system of essential nutrients. You're causing it to go crazy when it drinks that over and over again. I mean, you're having your metabolism go up and down and up and down. Your body doesn't know what the hell to do with it. So, you know, you can buy eggs, you can buy certain kinds of breads if you want. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. Why does my nose always itch when I'm talking in the car? And just get a lot of stuff cheap. You know, you can shop around, get some fruits and vegetables, and, you know, make some stews. You can make an awesome bean or a lentil soup stew for like $5, and that would last you and your family probably for about a week if you could get a big bowl of it. And that's nutritious and everything, and it's coming from the earth. You know, it's not no or processed shit food like potato chips and all that crap. So it's bullshit, you know. And then if you don't eat like that, if you start eating unhealthy, you're gonna keep doing that and never learn your lesson. And guess what? When you start having all of these ailments, and you buy your sodas and everything too, you have your ailments and you wonder why am I getting sick? And you continue your habits. Well, guess what? You have the opportunity to learn. You have all of these opportunities to better yourself, better your health, and better, you know, help lessen the rates, the rates for premiums for the rest of America. You know, we're all footing the bill for people's bad habits. I think it's completely unfair. I would rather have that money go to whatever I choose personally to be. I don't want to be forced to be paying that shit. So I just think personal responsibility is being neglected. That's the bigger issue here. Now just imagine, I keep scratching my nose. Just imagine, and I promise I'm not a crackhead or a meth head or anything. So just imagine if at least 60% of Americans had an ailment that was that was very expensive. Premiums would go up, right? Well, how do we attack that? I think premiums are inevitably going to be going up. Our grocery stores are packed to the brim. 90% of our grocery stores is all processed food. We buy, and they're catering to our wants and desires. So if the majority of the food there is all crap, that's what we are. Whoops. And they're going to cater to what we're asking for. Start buying different. Start, and learn how to read labels. Know that that organic logo and stuff. That's all bullshit. Do your research beyond that. That's all bullshit. If it was my recommendation to you, go to your farmers markets, go to their farms, and go see firsthand. See what kind of seeds they use, heirloom seeds or whatever. If they use any sort of harsh chemicals or anything, you can ask all these questions, and then you're gonna be able to go back and visit over and over again, or once is enough. But you got to do your due diligence, and your own personal health is your best health insurance, not government mandated health insurance. And I say all this knowing that there are exceptions to every rule. I would assume that there's about 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5% individuals in the United States who are victims of, they're just born with a defect or something bad happened to them, and it was chaotic, a catastrophe, or they're born with something that is very rare or whatever. There are charities, there are Medicaid. There is a lot, if your state participates, there are a lot of things that people could be doing that we can help out with scenarios like that. They're not abusing it. There's some people that actually deserve our charity. There's others that don't. And there's some that just scrub the system and, and believe everything could just be going to them at all times. So don't believe a lot of stuff in your grocery stores. That's a start. Second step, exercise. Go out and do your due diligence and work out. Make sure your body's going to be your temple. I'm guilty of skipping years, but I eat as healthy as I possibly can, minus my beer. We all have our vices, but I'm not letting mine take me down. And if it does, I'm not blaming anybody else but me for it. I'm the one that actually can pick up that bottle and make that choice to drink it or not. I'm also the one that makes the choice of what food I buy. You know, you got to instill that to your kids too. If you're buying shit food, that's all your kids are going to know, and you're going to pass down that cycle. I'll tell you what, this problem is not solved by universal health care. This problem is solved by instilling good habits from the start. That's it. I'm going to continue part 2 of this video here shortly. I have a meeting to attend, but I will talk to you later. Bye. So I want to go ahead and add some of the solutions that I think I stopped at, you know, how I was able to take care of myself and eat healthy by going to farmers markets, by buying in surplus, by buying in bulk, and knowing what type of foods were good for my body and good for my health overall. You can do that, and you don't have to be rich. The biggest single most important thing that you can do is avoid the aisles. Avoid anything. You should avoid the grocery stores if you can. GROSSERY stores. Avoid them if you can at all costs, and support your local farmers markets. You know, again, our system will change to our habits, and obviously the grocery stores have changed to a habit of processed foods and shit foods that keep us down, and we have to make sure that we understand that. We have to tell you know, the world that what we want is going to be healthier stuff and things that aren't processed, things that aren't GMO. So you know, that's where I left off, was making sure that you eat as healthy as possible. Now, another thing is the food and drug regulations are killing us, and they are making our bodies weaker. And again, this is apparent with how unknowledgeable people are about what they put into their bodies. Why everybody thinks that they have to be on medications. Why everybody thinks that you know, just because something's in a box, if it has the USDA organic label on it, that it's healthy for you. And none of this is true. None of this is true. You again, if you go back to the source and back to eating and creating foods from the earth, from fruits and vegetables that God gave you, then things are going to be better for you in the long run. You know, and again, I do have experience in this because I do have family that has passed away from cancer. You know, I was in the fitness field for a long time, and I transitioned careers. So even though I transitioned to sitting on my ass all day now, I do have the understanding and the knowledge of what I need to do. Am I doing an excellent job at it? Absolutely not. I think I'm doing a half-assed job, but I'm better than most, and that's because I do try to take care of myself. If I'm not going to be working out a lot, I will actually eat healthy. And if I am going to work out a lot, and I can choose to go a little bit less healthier. But I as the older I get, I think the more healthier I get. So it's, when I was younger, it was always really fun to eat sugars and crap like that. So again, you know, just know that these regulations, you know, there's things that change, you know, that get passed by big food industries that they can now say your Coca-Cola has no GMOs, and they can add this little marketing splash to make you inherently think that you're getting a good deal. No, you're drinking soda. You're drinking something that is man-made. There's absolutely nothing in it. It's empty calories. There's nothing in it that's going to help you. Don't come at the taxpayer expense and expect to get yourself covered for everything when you're drinking. And again, I see this all the time. I got to start taking pictures of these and then ending my segments with these. But I will go to a store and I'll see people buying like a whole cart full of 2 liters. And those are the same people complaining that they don't have adequate health insurance. Take ownership. You know, don't put your burden, don't put your habits at the burden of everybody else. Again, if everybody was to be doing that, if everybody was to go out and buy 8, 10, whatever, even 1 2-liter a day and drink it all, and then they wonder why they're getting sick, our premiums will skyrocket regardless if everybody had health insurance or not. Think about that for a minute. So none of this is to say that there are no special circumstances. Like I said, you know, there are definitely the in-between scenarios. Number one, I will always firmly believe that our soldiers should be taken care of first. Our military are the reason why we're here, and we need to give them as much as possible. I think second to that would be again assisting our elderly and anybody with a chronic disease or illness, regardless of age. That's not exactly the order I'd put it in. I think they're all pretty much exactly how I would be helping them. But everybody else, we're all able-bodied people until we don't become that. And we all are. God has put us here. And whether you believe in God or not, we are put here, and I know this for a fact. I was in the fitness field for a while. Our bodies are meant to handle extreme stresses. Somebody could be a 600-pound person one day, and then a year later it'll be down to 300, and then another year later down to 150, and be as fitter and able to increase their lifespan because of their habits. And then they can go back to being 600 and doing that. It's not relatively healthy for you to do that. It's not really ideal, and can cause issues in the long run. But I mean, our bodies are able to be, they're able to take abuse, and good abuse is better. So again, prevention is your best defense for both your own health and fiscally for our country. So don't fall into that trap that you can eat whatever you want. Oh, I got health insurance anyways. Doctors will always take care of me. You're drinking 2 liters, and you're eating your potato chips and your fake guacamole. They don't make real guacamole anymore. You can only make that by hand. You'll eat all this fake crap and think you're doing okay. Oh, I'm getting my veggies by eating this fake. No, you're not. You are fucking up your system, and you're bringing everybody else down with you, and you're putting it at the taxpayer expense, and you're making it part of a requirement that we all have to be chipping in to pay for, the type of premiums here. These healthcare industries, these insurance companies, they're losing money. Some of them most of them have already dropped out of this. So, just understand what this is doing. It goes back to personal responsibility in your health. You have one life to live. At least most people think so. I think so. Okay. There's also charities that do help people. And I'm throwing that out there in case somebody's watching this and they feel like they have no hope. But there are charities that do help with people who have just found out they have cancer. They have no or very little insurance and have a menial background. Regardless of background, I think if costs are skyrocketing, there's also avenues you could take, like GoFundMe and whatnot. So again, I'm not a cold-hearted asshole. I'm just a guy asking people to do the right things and to help when help is needed, and that's for the betterment again of our country. So I guess what I want to end at, well, two things. I want to ask a question. If everyone was sick, if everyone had a debilitating disease or some sort of a illness that required either a medication or constant visits to doctors in 5 years, because we all started having bad habits, nobody took personal responsibility for their own actions, and we all had this universal healthcare system, how would our rates go from there? What kind of society would we have? We would have a society that probably wouldn't even have a good defense. Everybody would be, we'd have to start having more leniency into the military because everybody's unfit. We'd have people constantly leaving work because of illnesses, so productivity would go down. We'd have skyrocketing premiums because everybody's using these hospitals and everybody has to pay in. Well, guess what? This cycle just keeps going on and on and on. Eventually, everybody's going to be getting sick, but if it was all at once, that'd be such a nightmare for us. So, I have not had a need, knock on wood, to go to a hospital of any kind. I hope I don't have to anytime soon, but and if I did, I'm pretty sure I would be bankrupt at this point, because I'm pretty sure my premiums would just be my expenses and my bills would be through the roof, and that's me being healthy. So anyways, we should have individual responsibility to pay for what we want with our earnings. I do believe that. I'm with Paul Rubio when he was debating Marco Rubio. I'm with Marco Rubio where he was debating Bernie Sanders a couple of days ago, and he said, the Democrats want to take your money and mandate how it's to be used. What Republicans want to do, and I don't really think this is all true, but I like the logic he used here, and I do believe this wholeheartedly as being what should be the norm.
we want you to keep more of your money so you can do with it what you want. If we want to give money to people who are sick or who do go out and have so much Mountain Dew and so much McDonald's and 10 Big Macs, so be it. Then I'll spend my money that way. But I think I have better ways to spend my money than to support somebody's habit that can be controlled. That's my 2 cents on that. Last thing I want to end is with this. There is a great quote from a great man, not so great anymore because his last movie was so politically correct. It was the worst movie of the year. But he did have a good line in an old movie. With great power comes great responsibility. Our freedom is our power, and we have a responsibility to use it wisely. We have the freedom to take advantage of this power as much as we want. If we want to abuse it to the max and take advantage of every taxpayer in the United States to pay for all of our ailments and our decisions and our bad habits, so be it. You have that right. But also know that I have the right to judge it and critique it and do my best to try to get the word out there that this is where this country is going and I don't like it, and get other people on board on my boat. So please note that it works all ways, just like free speech works all ways. You know, you free speech stoppers. Anyways, this is Roger again. I'm signing off. I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.